Welcome, everybody, to another episode of the Lunch Table Podcast. And in this episode, we're going to give you our review for episode 3 of White House Plumbers. All episodes are, in fact, streaming on Max. We're late to the game, we know. Unfortunately, we're really busy reviewing a lot of stuff. So Dylan's going to lead this one. He has plenty of thoughts to say about it. So, Dylan, why don't you start us off?
Yeah, so episode 3, we actually see the Watergate scandal take place, what actually transpired the day they broke into the Democratic National Convention. And it was actually really funny. I really enjoyed this episode. It may seem like this series drags on a bit, but it is like entertaining to watch. And like I said, I love just seeing Howard and Gordon like try to run things, because like they have very different styles. Like Gordon, he's just like, he's so obnoxious, and then Howard, he's like a very like by the books guy. And then we see the Cubans, they're trying to break in, and then they forgot their tools, so they had to go back. They break in like 4 attempts, and even like the head guys that are part of the re-election for Nixon are even like, "Oh, did you guys break in already?" And he's like, "Yeah, will be our 4th attempt." Wait, what? Like, oh, that's just spy tuck. So it was really funny. I enjoyed the episode, and you know, it's very. I kept going back to, you know, articles, reading about a little bit more about like the Watergate scandal, the history that took place, and actually a lot of it is very true to life. And wow. A lot of the events that took place, it was very accurate down to like the little details of them putting the tapes over the doors and the security guards finding it, and that's how they found out that the burglars were inside. And just seeing like all the little like details of like the dates and the time, so it was like leading up to this big scandal that happened. So it was really, you know, a very enjoyable almost docudrama to watch.
That's really interesting, and it has a comedic flair too, nonetheless. I wonder if they added the comedic flair because it's such like a maybe preposterous type of story, and like a lot of accidents that had happened. Maybe it's just like funny once you read the actual historical, like the you know, in the history books or whatever. It's kind of funny how like a lot of things it's just like a shit show.
Well, so I think about it, it's like if you really wouldn't watch like a boring like documentary, like right, oh this took place and this took place. So it's like I think they added the comedy. So it's like, I mean, maybe these characters weren't, you know, exactly like this, but it was funny to watch these little moments as you're watching the actual history unfold. It's almost like kind of reinventing the history a little bit, but still staying true to the actual story, right?
You know, that's very true. Yeah, because I would feel bored just reading over this or like watching a YouTube video about this. Yeah, I mean, and again, we talked about this before. It's really great to have a show like this and like someone as yourself that didn't have prior knowledge to what occurred. Now you are doing the research, and so that's really cool. You know, when a show can do that, and it's a mini series at least. So what else thoughts do you have?
Yeah, so I mean, the ending, we saw that unfortunately it was actually, I was kind of mad because Howard and Gordon almost got away with it. But it was sad because the wife had to leave for Paris with the kids, and Howard was actually trying to get out of this whole plot because he was done with the whole, you know, scheming and, you know, operation stuff. But Gordon was like really trying to push this like agenda, like, oh, well, you know, Nixon will reward us. You know, he'll probably make us like his close advisors if we get this done. But Howard like has second thoughts about it. And he even tries to ask the other guys, like, what do you guys think we should do? And most of them say we should just go with it. So it was nice to see that at least he had a bit of a conscience and that he was actually thinking about his family. But then he just kind of like fumbles the bag and unfortunately goes through with this whole plot. And he even had a letter that he gave to one of the Cuban guys. He was like, can you mail this to my family? And that's how they found out that he was involved in this whole thing, because they found his name and his address on it. So unfortunately, he is now an accessory to this crime. And it's actually interesting seeing this. And then I remember I used to watch All the President's Men a long time ago in grade school, and how Dustin Hoffman and I forget the other guy who played Bob Woodward, they have like a very almost combative relationship, but they still have to work together. And here, like Woody Harrelson and the guy who plays Gordon Liddy, they have like a very like close bond, and they think what they're doing is, you know, for the good of the country. But at the end of the day, it's kind of like they're only making things worse because they keep saying like, oh, this is, to fight communism. But it's, in a way, it's like they're wiretapping. So it's like you're actually like doing exactly what the communists are doing.
Right.
So it's kind of ironic in a way when you think about it.
Well, it's a perfect story because it's really complex at the end of the day. Okay, my friend. Well, what would you rate this episode?
It was a pretty good episode. I'd probably give it, I'll give it an 8 out of 10. I mean, it might not be for everybody, but it is, fun to watch. And it is entertaining, like I said, just seeing like how they go about this whole operation and how they fail and, try again. And the funniest part about it probably is that it's true to life too. And maybe anybody who actually, grew up around, the 70s will probably appreciate this more, probably flash back to like a lot of the news and the scandals that happened at that time. So yeah, 7 out of 10 for me.
Okay. Well, you heard it here, everybody. Why don't you take us away?
Well, guys, we only have 2 more episodes left for this review, so check them out when they drop. We have so much content planned already. We started reviewing The Idol out on Max. That's another HBO property. That was really good. We got a lot of views for that video, so thank you guys so much. Check us out wherever you listen to our podcast from. Leave a like, leave a comment. Anything helps the channel. But yeah, thank you so much. Until then, thanks for having lunch with us.
See you guys.